Hi there, I am Gudrun from Gudrun Crochet and today I'm here with a video talking about 4 different yarns that I will not be using again. So hi, welcome if you're new here. My name is Gudrun, I am a knitter from Belgium and I recently started this YouTube channel. Those of you who are recurring viewers, yes, I cut my hair today. So it is a bit shorter and it's also like a little bit curly, which normally isn't like this. Anyways, I have been knitting for I think 4 years or something. And so I have used a few different types of yarn. And some of those I have gone back to. Some of those I haven't. Some of those I have gone back to and regret it now. So I want to talk about some yarns that I don't really like. So maybe you guys can stay away from them if you are agreeing with the things that I say about them. If you have used these yarns and you love them, great. It might just be like a batch thing or something. I don't know. But we're gonna immediately get into it. I am going to start with my summer fibers. So I have 2 summer fibers and 2 winter fibers. Okay, so the first one, I quickly went to grab the actual ball because I have a ball left. It is the Scheepjes Bamboo Soft. It's a premium blend. It says it is a combination of 50% bamboo, 50% cotton. I got this yarn because I had used a cotton bamboo blend before from a different brand and I absolutely loved how that wears in the summer. So I bought some yarn and decided to make this t-shirt, and you can see the issue with this yarn. I made sure they were all in the same dye lot. And I have this band across the middle of the t-shirts of like a different dye lot. But the thing is, that is not a full skein worth of yarn. This yarn not only has different colors in one dye lot apparently, it also has a lot of factory knots. I think in one of the balls I had like 5 different factory knots, so a factory knot for each 10 grams. And I think what went wrong is that in this ball there was a factory knot and they knotted on yarn from a different dye lot. And then I had this and I didn't notice until much later and I didn't want to go back to fix it. Because from close you can't see it, it's only from farther away and on camera that it is very, very clear. It's also like in the middle of my body, so it is very, very prominent. If it would have been on like a sleeve or like an edge or just on the bottom, then I think I wouldn't have seen it as much. And now it's just really sad. So that kind of puts me off from wearing this t-shirt, which is a bummer because I knit it on 3.5mm needles. So this took a while, and I do love the fiber. It is very good for the summer, but it is just, yeah. Also, some of the factory knots I cut and then left 2 strands to weave in, but after a while I just got sick of it because there were so many, so I left them in and I'm scared that it's gonna fall apart. So yes, this yarn, it may have been a batch thing, as I mentioned before, but honestly, this really put me off from using this yarn again and even using this brand again. I am sorry. This was a horrible experience and it was so much hours of work for me to then not wear it as much as I would have liked. So yes, that's very sad. Then onto the next summer yarn. Now this yarn, there's nothing really wrong with it. I just don't think it's worth it. So this is my Bifurca vests, which I have made a knitting vlog about. And I use the BC Garn soft cotton for this. Now the BC Garn soft cotton is 90% cotton, 10% cashmere. And it is a relatively pricey yarn. I think it is €7 for a skein. And it's like a tiny little skein. So it was a little bit pricey, but I thought, you know, I will treat myself. Now, the gauge that is mentioned for this yarn is impossible to obtain. literally impossible. So the gauge for this yarn was pretty close to the gauge of the pattern. I think it was slightly thinner. So the pattern is supposed to be knit on 3mm needles, I think. Didn't hit gauge on that. I thought, okay, might be the yarn. Went up to 3.5. We're still not hitting gauge, not even the gauge of the yarn, which says it should be knit on 3mm needles. Went up to 4 and I was still not hitting gauge. My gauge watch was still too small. I am not a tight knitter at all. I pretty much always hit gauge. So I was surprised. That was frustrating. I had to do like a mix of sizes to kind of get this okay. Finally finished the project. Very happy to get this over with. You know, color work with 90% cotton still turned out fine. Was very proud of myself. I really struggled to wear this because this yarn literally made me think I had a sensitivity to cashmere, which I don't, because I own a 100% cashmere cardigan, which I can wear next to skin and not feel anything. It is buttery soft. This scratches me. It is a summer top, so I wear it next to skin on my shoulders and stuff, and after like an hour I start to get a bit uncomfortable and I start to get a little bit itchy. So I don't think they used the best quality cashmere, and for the price that this yarn is, to then be 90% cotton, 10% cashmere, you would need to get good cashmere in that. It's just not worth it. And then also the gauge issues, which just makes knitting with it very frustrating. Not using it again, which is very sad, because I was very hopeful about this yarn. But yeah, sadly, it was not a good fit. That was it for summer yarns. We are now going to go into winter yarns. The first winter yarn, I actually have 2 pieces of clothing that I made with it before I realized like I'm not gonna use this yarn again. So the first one is this heart lace sweater that I made in my first year of knitting, and I made it without a pattern. I know, I'm crazy. But this is made with drops Flora held together and then knit on 6mm needles. And it is not holding up that well. Now, I haven't worn it that much since the last time I shaved it, but you can already see there is a little bit of pilling, and I'm pretty sure I didn't wear this after depilling it last time. So this is what it's in its best shape. Literally one wear and it has pills all over, and I need to depill it. So I need to depill it every single time I wear it. And honestly, yeah, that puts me off from wearing this sweater, which is really sad because I put a lot of effort in this, and I think it is pretty cute in general. So, but yes, this yarn is just horrible. Now I figured maybe it's just because I'm holding a double, you know. So I decided to hold it together with a lace weight strand of cotton. I know, weird combination, because Drops Flora is alpaca and wool, and then I hold it together with a cotton. Anyways, that created this very beautiful combination, but as well, it is still, you can't really see it, but it is still pilling quite a lot. I depill these sweaters pretty much every single time I wear them, as you can see, because they just pill and they don't stop pilling. Because I know some yarns have like a primary pilling. Here around the cuff, you can see it pretty well over there. Some yarns have a primary pilling phase where they pill a lot at first and then you depill them and then they kind of cool down. Drops Flora does not do that. So it pills everywhere on the sweater or cardigan. Then you depill it and then you wear it 2 times and you need to depill it again. So this was also depilled, and I think I wore it maybe once on a day where I didn't move that much. So again, a sweater where I put in a lot of time and effort, and I just simply don't wear this as much as I would like. just because I know if I wear it out one day, I'm gonna have to depill it again, which is a hassle. Now, of course, Drops yarn is a pretty affordable yarn, so maybe you can kind of expect it for the price. But I have used a lot of Drops yarns, and none of them has had this problem this much. So if you want a budget yarn, literally use any yarn except for Drops Flora. That is it. It is very soft though. And of course, the softer a yarn is, the more it's gonna pill, generally. But this is too much. I have used much softer yarns that do not pill at all. So use another yarn, use another Drops yarn, use a better yarn, I don't know. This one, not worth it for me. You put a lot of work into your clothes and you want them to last a long time, and then if they don't, it's just very frustrating. Anyways, on to the next and last type of yarn. This one is bound into a bag. I'll take it out for you guys. This is my... It's all folded up, it doesn't look good, but anyway. This is my cloud blouse by Petiteknit. And I knit this with Dropskit silk held double. It is beautiful pink color. I think the color looks amazing on me. But this yarn sheds a lot. So as I was knitting with it, I had knit my gauge swatch, which is like this big, on my lap. I was wearing black pants, and my black pants had turned pink. There was pink fluff all over there after just like a gauge swatch, which took me like 10 minutes. So I was like, oh, this is gonna shed a lot. And at first I thought it was just gonna be during the knitting process. So I grabbed this very big shawl, which is almost a blanket, but it's very thin because I was knitting in summer. And I put that over my lap when I was working on it. And then I kind of folded it inwards to keep all of the fluff in there so it wouldn't get onto all of my clothes. Kind of worked. I still need to like get everything off of me after I was working on it, but it was doable. I then blocked it. I also put it in the freezer and shook it out because I heard that can help with mohair from like not losing as much fluff. Because if you freeze it, apparently the fibers that aren't stuck well, they break off, and then if you shake it, those fibers get off. I did that. It did work a little bit. I made a comparison video, like a TikTok video of the two, and it did do a little bit. Like I had a black t-shirt underneath, and it wasn't as covered in fluff from wearing it for like 10 seconds. But it didn't work as good, and I am unable to wear anything dark colored with this. So I can't wear dark pants, and even my school bag, which is dark green, I can't wear my school bag directly over this because my school bag is fully covered in pink fluff and is very noticeable. So that really puts me off from wearing this. And I think, but that's a personal thing, I think I might have a sensitivity to mohair. To my hands, it is fine, but the minute I put it up to my neck, it is horrible. However, I have noticed in some of my sweaters, like store-bought sweaters, that I have a very low percentage of mohair, that indeed I find them a very little bit scratchy. So that might be a me thing, but I have felt mohairs in store, like the Knitting for Olive. I can hold that up to my skin and it is fine. So, but yeah, it's a budget mohair, so of course it's not gonna be the softest thing ever. But you know, I can get over that. I made the cloud blouse for a reason, because it has a relatively wide neckline that is not like straight onto your skin. I did that because this was my first time working with mohair. I figured then if I am a little bit sensitive, I can just easily wear a t-shirt underneath, long sleeve even, and I should be fine. But yeah, I just don't wear it because it sheds that much. And it's a shame because it's a really pretty sweater, it's a pretty color, it has a pretty fit. And it just sits in my closet in a bag, because if I don't put it in a bag, every single sweater in my closet will be covered in fluff, even if I don't touch it. The fluff moves. I don't know how, but it does. So now I have gotten some mixed reactions on my TikToks about this yarn. Some people say like, yeah, I stopped working with this yarn because it just sheds everywhere, like I can't wear it. And other people are like, oh no, it doesn't shed at all for me. Some people it's soft, some people say it's scratchy. So it might be like a batch thing or even a color thing, because I know some yarns have differences between their colors in terms of how they feel and last. So maybe it's a color thing. And I know it is a pretty light color, so maybe they first had to bleach it and then dye it. And maybe the black ones they can just dye or something. Maybe that makes a difference. I don't know, I'm not a yarn connoisseur. But yes, not using this yarn again, not held double, not held with something else. I have mohair fluff flying in my room now. But yes, if you worry about shedding and like it's getting onto your clothes, maybe don't go for Dropskid Silk. It is a lot cheaper than other brands, and I think there's a reason for it. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. But yeah, it's very sad because you put a lot of time in all of your knits and then you just don't wear them as much. And if it's because of something like a yarn, that's really sad. Because definitely with drops yarn, I think all of the yarns that I talked about here today, I ordered them online. So you also can't really test it out. And for a lot of yarns, I feel like there is a lack of reviews online talking about the pros and cons of the yarn. Because my winter yarns that I talked about today, they are budget yarns. You can kind of expect them to not be as good just because they are cheap. But then this one, I think for this top, I paid the same amount of money for the yarn as I did for my entire cloud blouse. And this doesn't have sleeves, you know? And then this one was even more expensive. I think I paid like 45 euros for the yarn for t-shirts. Might I add, it's a t-shirt for it to then be ruined and full of factory knots. I don't like that. I am pretty pissed. I will never buy from this yarn again. This one really had me pissed off. Because if you're paying a lot for a yarn and then it's full of factory knots, unacceptable. Unacceptable. If a drops yarn has some factory knots, I'm like, oh well, but it's cheap. You know. This? Nah. I don't think I will be buying from scheepjes ever again, which is sad because I do have some interesting fiber combinations, but in general they are expensive. This one is a good fiber composition, but they have quite a lot of yarns that are like 50% acrylic and 50% merino, for example, and then they ask double the price of what Drops asks for 100% merino. I don't know, maybe they are more ethical, but they don't really say anything about that. And I just think their quality is just not up to par. So yes, that is my very irritated rant about my bad yarn choices. If you guys want to see a video about my favorite yarns or my best wearing yarns, let me know. I can do that. I just have to make a selection of which ones I like the most. And also which ones I have had for quite a while, so I really know how they're wearing. I can also do something about socks. I'm not the biggest sock knitter, but I have quite a bit of knitted socks and I do get a little bit of wear during the winter. So I might do that. I don't know, let me know what you guys want to see. If you made it this far in the video, thank you very much. Maybe consider liking and subscribing, that really helped me, and leave a comment if you have worked with these yarns and liked them or didn't like them, and if you have any other yarns that you're really disappointed by and pretty much ruins one of your projects. But yeah, that's it. I hope you all have a wonderful day and very good luck with your crochet and knitting projects. Bye bye!